voice is ready to evolve and be heard in a loud society where people feel they have limited choices. We hope to open minds and inspire people. That being said, enjoy the sequel. Beautiful people, it's your boy Tito, and welcome to another episode of Maintain the Design.
We are live in the
Back
studio.
With my boy Khwincy.
Yeah, bro.
Good, my bro.
Good to be back. I'm good, bro.
Yeah. So how's everything been, bro? How's your experience? You've been in India for the past 9 months.
Yeah.
So what's been happening, bro? Why did you go there, and what's your journey been like up to now?
Oh man, it was crazy. I've been there for like 9 months. You know, it was my first time living outside of the country for like that kind of length of period. And yeah, just like the culture shock that you experience.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, you know, just like South African banter and vibes is just like different. And yeah, like, you know, being around people and they speaking a completely different language, and sometimes they go into like their own conversations, and you're like just like sitting there on the side and you're like, oh my god, you know, pretty much alone, even though when you're in the midst of people, was a game changer for me. Learned a lot of things, and I went there for yoga and meditation. Basically, I wanted to dive deep into what that means and what yoga is all about. And explore my body and move myself to like a better mental state specifically.
And what cultural differences would you say that were a bit shocking to you when you got there? Especially with regards to this path or journey that you're on. Do you feel like it was conducive to what it is that you're trying to achieve?
Yeah.
And what were the culture shocks when you got there?
It's quite crazy because Africans and Indians, there's a lot of similarities that we have with them. But yeah, the different things, the one major one I can think about is just the bathroom usage.
Yeah.
That took me back a bit in terms of just like, you know, there they don't use toilet paper, they prefer to use like spray guns.
Yeah.
And I'm just not used to bonding with that part of my body like that, you know, just like having water on it, you know, and sometimes like the floor's wet. Because obviously people are like spraying all over and it goes all over the floor sometimes and things like that. Yeah, that kind of took me back. And then there's like toilets where, you know, you completely just squat.
Yeah.
Because apparently it's like, it prevents constipation if you, because a lot of people get constipated on using westernized toilets, and they feel that if you engage a squat, you're engaging your whole body, so then you don't really leave anything in and it just all comes out. So yeah, that took me back. That was an uncomfortable thing that I had to kind of just break that limitation, because I try to avoid it for as long as I can. But you know, eventually nature calls, man.
And what would you say are the mental barriers that you've broken through? Do you think that it's made you stronger mentally? Because obviously you've been out of your comfort zone for so long.
Yeah.
You haven't been operating the way in which, you know,
Yeah.
the rest of the world operates in normal everyday life. You've basically been in isolation zone.
Yeah, it was crazy because, you know, I feel like it was like just off a city called Coimbatore in the middle of the mountains there, the Velengiri Mountains they're called.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was like a lot of animals nearby, like you could hear some elephants, you'd come across warthogs and things like that, and you'd walk everywhere, which was very different for me. And yeah, you're basically just secluded away from everything else, and you basically get the chance to hone in on what you are as a life, you know, when you don't have to deal with the day-to-day things of living in like a big city. You know, a big city, a lot of distractions are happening all at the same time, and you know, it's the fast lane, man. You gotta live life at super speed. Not that there in the ashram we didn't live life at super speed. It's just, you know, we're living life without thinking about things like where to sleep, you know, what to eat, what to cook, because they handle all of that basically. And all these things, these material things, you kind of put them aside as well, because everybody dresses a bit dressed down, a lot more humble, more just like plain, simple, comfortable clothes, so that you just feel loose throughout the day, and you kind of just lose your sense of identity, which is it was like a very crazy thing. Like I remember feeling uncomfortable that just like people aren't expressing their fashion and their color and their personality through their clothes, through their rings, bling, and everything that they wear. And you just really learn to kind of just observe a human life and experience yourself just as a life, and nothing outside of that. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And is it a culture shock to be home? Because like with me for example, if I've been away for a very long time, I think I'm the type of person that likes to be in the same environments. Like I can make friends with people from different places and visit different places, but once I've left to a place for very long, I think at first it takes me time to adjust to places I don't know really. But once I've been there for more than 2 weeks, I think I get used to the fact that I'm there. I adapt to environments very quickly. Even though it makes me uncomfortable initially. So how does it feel being back home now? Is it strange? What are the like adjustments that you've had to like adapt to in your first like few weeks back?
I was practically like almost like an Indian when I was there, eating Indian food every day, celebrating their festivals with them, taking part in the culture, bought a few they're called kurtas, which are like nice dress shirts. And I immersed myself in the culture. I just wish I learned the language a little bit better, but where I was, it was like a multicultural ashram, so like people from all over the world come there. So mainly we were speaking English, and I didn't get to learn as much Hindu or any other languages, Hindi, sorry, as I would like to. But coming home was just, it was crazy, like just arriving at the airport, and you can just feel you're in South Africa just because of just the way people talk each other in the line. The security guard's like, sure, bruh, fit in. Like, he's giving you some vibes, and, people are just like vibing out in the line. And, the lady at the immigration station was just like, welcome home, Booty. And you just like, you really feel the change that you're home. South Africans are very like vibrant people, and you don't realize that until you're in another country. Not to say that other countries they like dull, but like South Africans, they really do have something special about them. And it was shocking coming home, because obviously it's the big city, and things move at a crazy pace, and basically just adjusting to the fact that so much has changed about me, but a lot of things have also stayed the same, and connecting with my family again, feeling like a stranger in my own home because I hadn't been there in so long. And I was sleeping on the hard floor there. We sleep on the floor. We have cold showers at 4:30 in the morning. There's never any warm showers and things like that. So like coming back home, and you have like a super soft bed. There's a warm shower. It was just like overwhelming. I mean, I still take cold showers. I'm just so used to cold showers now that I can't even take warm showers too much. So it was a crazy adjustment. Adjusting to the pace of the city as well. It's just especially when everybody knows that you're back, and things just start moving at a crazy pace, and you're there like trying to navigate keeping the discipline that you gain from going there, and doing things in an orderly way, and with a lot of conscious thought behind it, to managing that things can come from anywhere here in the city. So that was it's quite a bit of an adventure. Adapting to that.
That's super interesting, man. And obviously you are immersing yourself in a new journey,
Yeah.
a new path that you're still exploring.
Yeah.
You know, even though 9 months is a long time,
Yeah.
but in reality, it's not that long. You know,
Yeah.
you're trying to learn something new and you're trying to master something.
Yeah.
You know, and become a master at a certain craft
Yeah.
or a certain topic in society.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I feel you.
because of that, right? Obviously, when you in India,
Yeah.
you basically at the mecca and at the center of this journey
Yeah.
that you're taking, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel as if there's a lot of things that you're doing back there that you might have to re-implement in order to basically like stay aligned with what you're trying to do?
Yeah. 100%, like the ashram is designed in such a way that it's supposed to support your yoga journey and your meditative journey in every way that it can. In terms of the kind of food that you eat, so it's like vegetarian food only, you know. And you know, as South Africans, we love meat, bro. We love meat, and you know, it's everywhere. It's in every one of our dishes. You know, just braais, man. Braais, you know, are just like things you can't avoid in South Africa, and those are one of the things that I came back from the ashram and I felt like I had to implement was remaining vegetarian, just because how the yoga is designed is that you want to be meat free essentially. It's lighter for your system, eating light food, and it keeps your moods also a lot more stable. And you don't feel like as heavy. Consuming a lot of meat just makes you feel a lot heavier than people realize, you know. So I've just gained that sense of like, okay, my energy space is at such a different level that when I eat meat now, I know that I'm gonna be slower. So those are one of the things that's been difficult to try implement back home. You know, because you know India is so diverse in terms of like the amount of vegetables it has, and that you can get from all sorts of different places and fruits, and therefore like the spices and the dishes when they mix together, you don't even remember the meat, you know, because your palate is being tickled in so many different ways, and you're just trying to figure out, oh, what's this taste that I don't know, you know. So you end up not missing the meat, whereas when you come back home, man, you're just gonna put like some cayenne pepper. No specific exotic spice that's just gonna drive you crazy. So yeah, I'm trying to learn where the Indian markets are here and where to get like some unique spices, and put a little bit more of Indian flavor into my dishes, or any Asian flavors into my dishes, to be honest.
You speak about food there and dishes, right? And obviously the scarcity of food is a major topic of conversation, I think, at the moment, or a lot of awareness, let me say, is being created around that. Because the global population is growing. But the amount of food that we're producing for the people around the planet is getting lesser and lesser as the years go by. Which is why you get people who have these conspiracy theories about population control and all these types of things. I think those ideas stem from those type of realities, right? So I remember the one thing that you mentioned to me a lot while you were in India was about soil. And you post a lot about it as well. So what's that about? What's that movement about? And how bad is that situation globally?
Save soil. Hashtag save soil. That's the movement. This was started by Sadhguru. He's a mystic and a yogi, and basically he built the ashram that I went to from scratch with a group of people, and essentially they realized that there is soil scarcity because of the way that we are farming our lands, and obviously climate change also has to do with it. It affects the way the sun, well, when you look at the way we farm and how the sun um, affects the soil, we end up burning a lot of life forms that are formed by the soil. So a lot of soil has been degraded over the years, and we have to basically 52% of the world's soil has been degraded, and our population is only going higher, and they predict that by major scientists all around the world predict that by 2045, that there will be pretty much global starvation. About 7 billion people will be affected by this. The whole world will be affected by this, because if you look at all the major wars that happened around the world, specifically in Africa, about 27 out of 30 of the wars that happened in in Africa were because of famines. If you look at Rome, the Roman Empire, it fell because of, there was a lot of instability there because of food security. Mesopotamia as well, food security. And honestly, if we don't do anything about replenishing our soil and learning how to farm it the right way, and create policies around how to maintain the soil, so that everywhere in the world, it is important that governments employ this in their policies, because that's the only way that in the future it won't be able to be changed just dramatically, and they can maintain a certain amount of organic content in the soil, because we need a certain amount of organic content in the soil for the soil to be to produce food that nourishes us. Like they say that right now, with the amount of organic content in the soil, you have to eat 8 mangoes right now to get the same nutrients as you would back in the 80s or the 70s. You only need like 1 mango to get the the nutrients of 8 mangoes today. So that's the kind of problems that we have to face and address, and I'm hoping people can wake up and realize that it affects every single person. You cannot avoid it. We all eat, and it's not just in specific parts of the world. The entire world has lost about 52% of its soil, which is a very scary, scary place to be. We'll be producing 40% less food with an ongoing population. I just want you to kind of imagine the kind of world we live in, where there's no food.
I've seen that movie. I've seen those movies before.
Yeah. Those scary movies, bro.
World War Z is happening.
Yeah. Right now, people are like, there's this war going on, and it's like they're not realizing that, we have bigger issues to fry, bigger fish to fry, because soil takes time to replenish, bro.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. It's like, and it's kind of a crazy thing to think, like, how is it possible for soil to degrade, right? Because it's like all over, right? There's earth all over, but most of the soil is turning into sand, basically. So it's not a soil that we can use to grow crops. That's why farmers all over the world are really struggling. So we have to create healthy soil for ourselves. Otherwise, we're going to be in a pickle.
Yeah. But realistically, how do you see this situation changing, firstly? And secondly, because we live in such a consumerist society, we consume, that's what we do. Big corporate companies, all they want to do is make more and more money. I don't think they're concerned about the well-being of Earth and Mother Nature. I think I've been hearing about global warming since I started primary school. And nothing has changed. Still doing the same thing. Regulations are there, but it's not really enough to save the planet. That's why I think the the pandemic when it hit in 2020 was a big reset for the planet
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everyone was home. So
Yeah.
the Earth basically
Nature was repairing itself.
got a chance to rehabilitate a little bit.
Yeah.
So, what do you predict going forward, and how do you see things going?
Well,
Continue.
to be honest, what the scientists predict is that if we don't start doing active change, in terms of changing the soil right now, right, it's gonna take 150 years to
reverse the
hectic work, and we'll be in a very, very dire situation while waiting for 150 years to reverse the situation and the damage that's been done to soil. So what I predict, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if it's if human beings are gonna get involved, but we just gotta do what we can and what we know that we can. And how this can basically change is that already the ashram the Isha Foundation specifically has already created documents that pretty much talk about the soil, and they've gotten into contact with all major leaders around the world to say that there needs to be a change in how we approach soil. And most of them already know that the issue's there. It's just they were just kind of just like waiting for some major thing to happen or somebody to come and address this, and that therefore the Isha Foundation's kind of take it and made it their own responsibility. And the yogi Sadhguru, he's basically been riding from London since the 21st of March basically, and he's riding across I think 21 different nations for 100 days straight to create some kind of buzz about soil basically. And he wants about 3 billion people all over the world to basically be talking about soil, and everybody needs to know that we are running out of food. Essentially, your smoothies that you like, where you gonna get a smoothie if you like a smoothie? If you into meat also, what's gonna feed your cows? Exactly. This isn't and you say that the major corporations, they're a bit hesitant to get involved, but they're affected too, because they eat, they're human beings, they eat. Exactly. So this isn't like we have to change too much of what happens. We just need to put active movements behind making sure that there's policies all over the world that help and support farmers all over the world and teaching them how to farm the lands properly and replenish our soil basically. We have to put some investment behind it, we have to put in some work behind it, and I think nobody can deny that this will affect them. Because let's say, okay, you're part of the wealthy group, right? And let's say 2 billion people are starving, which is what is predicted if we don't do anything. In about 8 years, 2030, that's when it will start. People will start getting severely hungry. Do you think that your neighbor who's poor is seeing you eat and he's gonna leave you alone and he's hungry as hell?
You're in trouble.
Bro, you're in trouble,
That's why these
bro.
guys have bunkers, bro.
Yeah.
No. It gets critical. There's nothing that your money can do to protect you.
Yeah. I mean, all this export and import, the trucks that are exporting goods and vegetables outside of Africa, because, most of the world outside, is specifically the West, imports a lot of those fruits and vegetables from here. Like, do you think if you're starving, you're gonna let that truck go, bro? So that's the kind of just world that you will be affected no matter who you are, rich, poor. If your neighbor is hungry, bro, it's gonna affect you, bro. So yeah, that's a scary world to live in. I'm not somebody that likes to paint, loom and doom pictures, but it's just the reality, bro. People are gonna be hungry. I mean, already people are hungry already,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's time to do something about it now. We've learned from COVID, bro. Like, there were warning signs about COVID that, I know we don't trust Bill Gates that much, but he did warn us that if there was you know, a medical outbreak, that we don't have the kind of hospitals that are ready to handle a situation like that.
Yeah.
An epidemic. We didn't have the the hospitals and the equipment and all the things in place and strategies of how to deal with something like this worldwide. And then COVID happened, and we were in, the whole world was in complete shock.
Yeah.
So hopefully people have learned from the pandemic that let's not wait for something dramatic to happen, because already the pandemic is dramatic. Already this war with Ukraine and Russia is so dramatic. We don't need any more drama. Not when it comes to our stomachs, bro. Like.
Yeah. And obviously, like locally, when you bring it home back to South Africa,
Yeah.
the issue around land and farming, and it's a very sensitive topic.
Yeah.
Which has many layers and a lot of politics around it. But is there any awareness being created locally, regardless of those issues that we have around those type of situations?
Yeah, I mean, there are volunteers that I know that are trying to basically spread the word as far and wide as possible. And the Isha Foundations already got like a lot of major influences to get involved in spreading the message. So it's not like hopeless. It's the movement is gaining traction, and basically anybody can get involved with the movement. You can go to on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook and go to a page called Conscious Planet, and basically they you can go to the website and they'll show you how you can help. And even if maybe you feel like going on the website and being an official member of the movement is too much for you, you can at least spread the message and talk about it and make noise about it, because the government, most of the world lives in a democracy, and if enough people say that we want this, like we want this to be implemented now, and enough voices are out there making noise, change will happen, policies will be built. I mean, I know a lot of people are always skeptical about what does like posting and reposting, how much does that really do? But if you look at the Black Lives Matter movement, and the another movement called the Ice Bucket Challenge, they got a lot of funding and backing, and now people are, in terms of Black Lives Matter. I mean, yes, a lot more can be done, but now people in the English Premier League bend before every game to say, we stand. Like, we of course want more, and we want to put in more, but there's always different stages for change to happen, and the most simple way is to make sure that you make some noise. That's the starting point and the easiest point for anybody, because we all have free social media tools that we can use. And basically you can go to the Conscious Planet page to learn more about the movement, and see which level of the movement that you feel like you can involve yourself in. Basically. So basically for the next 100 days, just keep an eye out for Sadhguru and the Isha Foundation and influencers like SZA, Omarion. They're all involved in spreading the message far and wide.